Legislative Day number 4 will now come to order. Please rise for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. Now I will call upon Councilwoman Allman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the journal of the meeting for February the 5th?
So moved.
Second.
Been first and seconded. All in favor? Aye. The journal is approved. Mr. Secretary, enrollment of bills.
There are no bills for enrollment this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Bill 9-18, Division of Corrections, and Bill 10-18, County Budget.
Thank you. The council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary?
Bill 1-18, Childhood Lead Poisoning Case Management Program.
Mr. Kevin Reed, I don't know what's going on. Can you try to move the microphone? Try to get what's on.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and council members.
Good evening, Mr. Reed.
The administration is requesting a supplemental appropriation of state and federal funds in the amount of $113,183 to the Childhood Lead Poisoning Prevention and Environmental Case Management Program. The funding will be used to hire a part-time public health nurse and 3 part-time community health workers. These workers will conduct 3 to 6 home visits per at-risk family that will focus on engaging and supporting these families to mitigate environmental hazards that can lead to asthma and elevated lead levels in blood. The goal is to improve the coordination with the child's medical care providers to head off any potential problems brought on by high lead levels and decrease ER visits as it relates to asthma.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman? Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Ayes have it. Bill 1-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Bill 2-18 is sponsored by Councilman Catch. Holding facilities, noise, and excessive lighting.
Is there Miss in it? Go ahead. Councilman Katz.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I'd like to thank the administration. We met today at 1 o'clock to discuss the sound barrier issue. It was, I think, a very productive meeting. The county at the time committed $300,000 toward this project. And there are 2 bills in the state legislature, each for $100,000 bond issues. And we feel confident that we will get some funds from the state of Maryland. I think it was a very productive meeting. And I spoke with the proponents of the bill, and they would like to proceed with a vote on the bill. In thinking about it, I don't see where it would have any harm to pass this bill to make sure that this sound barrier does come about. There is an amendment to the bill, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, there's an amendment in your book sponsored by Councilman Catch, which provides that the bill applies only to an animal shelter facility that is owned or operated by the county.
Any more comments before I call a vote for the amendment? Mr. Catch? You good?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Is there a first and a second? Is there a motion to approve the amendment?
So moved.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Ayes have it. The amendment to Bill 2-18 is passed. Any further comments or concerns about Bill 2-18 before I call it for a vote? No other comments? Is there a motion to approve Bill 2-18 as amended?
So moved.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 2-18.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Okay, Bill 2-18 as amendment is passed. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on February the 13th. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. I'll now call upon the secretary to read all fiscal matters 1 through 3. Fiscal matter 4 will be deferred for 2 weeks.
Fiscal Matter 1 is a contract with Good Earth Services Incorporated. Fiscal Matter 2 is a contract with Versar Incorporated. And Fiscal Matter 3 is a contract with Havtech Service Division, LLC.
All right, any questions or comments about fiscal matters 1 through 3 from the members? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion. Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Fiscal matters 1 through 3 are approved. We'll now consider all miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, the first item, please.
This is a notification from the Director of Budget and Finance regarding contracts over $25,000 that are awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid. It's required that these contracts be announced at the Council's legislative meeting. And there are 2 contracts this evening. Rupert Landscape, $64,227, and Rexel Incorporated, $226,409.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 14-18 is sponsored by Councilman Marks. This is a resolution of the council to approve the review of a proposed planned unit development.
Councilman Marks?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In 2016, the Presbyterian Home of Maryland announced plans to cease operations at its West Towson site. The future of the stately Bosnia Mansion and its expansive lawn was in doubt. Since that time, I've remained in close contact with the property owners, residents, and historic preservations. Last spring, the Presbyterian Home of Maryland announced a contract with Marty Azzola and Delbert Adams, who have a history of preserving historic properties. This summer, Azzola and Adams submitted a proposal for a planned unit development that would adaptively reuse the mansion. That plan is supported by 3 key stakeholder organizations: the Southland Hills Improvement Association, and I see many members here tonight, thank you for coming, the Greater Towson Council of Community Associations, and the Preservation Alliance of Baltimore County. I believe this proposal is the most realistic plan for preserving the mansion and as much of the green space as possible. Neither the state nor the county governments is likely to buy this property, and if this proposal collapses, I am concerned about the mansion rotting away with an uncertain future. Therefore, I have submitted this resolution to begin the formal review of this proposal. Again, I believe that this is the most realistic proposal to saving this property. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Councilman Marks. Are there any questions or concerns or comments? Is there a motion to approve Resolution 14-18?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 14-18.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye. Ayes have it. Resolution 14-18 is passed. Okay, Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 18-18 is a resolution in support of a conditional loan up to $2 million from the Maryland Department of Commerce to Black & Decker.
Okay, we have Mr. Will Anderson here to testify. Good evening, Mr. Anderson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Resolution 1818 is in support of an expansion of Stanley Black & Decker at their Tool Division headquarters. This is at the Greenlee development, and the resolution specifically is to support a Maryland State Economic Development Fund of $2 million coming to the project. The county is matching its 10%, and as a result, the company's going to be investing $8.5 million, injecting a much-needed corporate anchor coming out to Greenlee at Crossroads, and adding, more importantly, 400 excellent jobs to a growing Stanley Black & Decker in our region, which will bring the total of Stanley Black & Decker up to over 2,000 employees just in Baltimore County alone.
Okay. Good news. Councilwoman Bevins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it is good news, and thank you, Mr. Anderson, for all your work on this. It's a very exciting time for Middle River to have all these jobs coming to the area in the brand-new building, and it looks fantastic, and we can't wait to have the hustle and bustle of people actually in that building, and it's just a really nice addition to Greenlee, so thank you and the administration for all the work that you did to get them to come to Greenlee. Appreciate it.
Thanks for all your help out there, Councilwoman.
We certainly, I would like to piggyback on what Councilwoman Bevins has said. We certainly appreciate all your efforts. I mean, that's what it's all about, good paying jobs, feed the economy, send the kids to school, feed the kids. This is all good stuff. So we appreciate it. Any more comments on Black & Decker? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 18-18?
I'll move it.
I'll second it. It's been first and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 18-18.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Ayes have it. Resolution 18-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 19-18 is a resolution in support of a conditional loan up to $1,300,000 from the Maryland Department of Commerce to Sinclair Broadcasting Group.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, this one is tougher. Take it away. No, it's not.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a similar resolution. This is to allow the state commerce to invest in another expansion here. So this is Sinclair Broadcasting, which has headquarters offices spread out throughout Hunt Valley. We were competing to keep the company and their jobs here in Baltimore County, and we won that competition. So this will result in 367 new jobs coming to Sinclair. The amount that the state is investing is $1.3 million, and our 10% match. And this resolution are required, and that'll allow the company to invest $12 million in 3 facilities in Hunt Valley.
Okay, Mr. Anderson. Is there any comments or testimony about the $1.3 million for St. Clair Broadcasting to spread propaganda throughout the nation?
But it's the right kind of property.
No one seems to care that the Tribune Company does the same thing.
Mr. Chair, I certainly want to thank Mr. Anderson and his department for working on this situation. As he said, it's going to bring 360 high-paying jobs to Hunt Valley, to Baltimore County. And when you think of the tax revenue and everything else, this is a win-win for everyone. And so that's it.
Councilman Katz, I'm going to agree with you that 367 jobs is good, and that is good news. And I'm sure the families that they will feed, the kids that will be fed, won't care what message they're spreading. It's not exactly the message I would condone, but it is freedom of speech. It is America, and it's 367 jobs, so I certainly support it. Any more comments? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 19-18?
So moved.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll of Resolution 19-18.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Resolution 19-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
Next item.
Resolution 20-18 is sponsored by Councilman Quirk. This is a resolution to approve the refund of taxes collected from Ricky J. Lamberth, who is a disabled veteran and entitled to an exemption under state law.
I'll move that resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Resolution 20-18 is passed. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Resolution 21-18 is sponsored by Councilman Jones, a resolution to approve the refund of taxes collected from Raymond Warfield, who is a disabled veteran.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 21-18 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 22-18 is sponsored by Councilman Crandall, a resolution to approve the refund of property taxes collected from Irvin Becker, who is a disabled veteran.
It's my honor to move the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Allman?
Aye.
Mr. Katz?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins?
Aye.
Resolution 22-18 is passed. And Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 23-18 is sponsored by Councilman Crandall. This is a resolution of the council to approve the review of a proposed plan unit development. This is for introduction only this evening.
Okay, next item, Mr. Secretary.
Resolution 24-18 is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins. This is a resolution requesting the United States Board on Geographic Names to approve the naming of a cove on Seneca Creek in the Bowleys Quarters area as Baines Cove. This is for introduction only this evening.
Okay. Is there any further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who has signed up prior to the meeting with the secretary is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Mr. Secretary, are there any speakers signed up this evening?
There are 5 speakers, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our first speaker will be Yara Shut. Please come forward. Yes, come on right on up. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good.
Dear council persons, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Yara Sheikh, and I'm the mother of 4 children in Baltimore County Public Schools, Ridgely Middle School PTA president, and an education committee member of the League of Women Voters, Baltimore County. For 4 years, I've worked with the Delaney High School community and surrounding neighborhoods to advocate for a comprehensive solution to the deficient and neglected facility. I want to thank Councilpersons Koch and Almond, who have toured Delaney High School several times in the past 3 years. In addition, I want to thank Councilman Marks for his past support for a replacement school for Delaney High School at Board of Education meetings. Simply, Delaney High School is the second worst high school by mechanical, electrical, and plumbing score in the county. Delaney High School has the largest deficiency of space of any school in the Baltimore County, over 47,000 square feet for its current state-rated enrollment. To renovate Delaney High School at the proposed cost of recent renovations is approximately $90 million. The proposal on the table is to replace Delaney High School. It can solve as part of the Central Area Overcrowding Solution. In addition, I would ask you to consider having the tough conversation of how we pay for these schools this year. This is an election year. Let's hear from our elected officials and our candidates on how they plan to pay for it. We can't wait because the needs are across the county. I know that each of you have high schools and elementary schools and middle schools that need attention. We need to continue with the money we've been spending on schools. Let's have the conversation this year while the candidates have microphones in front of them to address how we do it. Thank you.
Ms. Yara, I appreciate you coming, but I just want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Do you think that we could really have an honest conversation during an election year?
I think money gets spent during election cycles. I think conversations are had, and I think promises are made. And we as citizens have to hold those elected accountable. And that's what the Delaney community would do to anyone. And that's what we've been doing for 4 years, and I hope that's what I've been doing for a decade of advocacy. So yes, whether they are sincere isn't the point. The point is whether the citizens hold them accountable.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate it. We have Councilman Katz.
Yeah, just very quickly, Yara, I want to thank you and Jen and the Friends of Delaney for the excellent job that you've done advocating for a new building for Delaney High School. Certainly the facts and statistics that you've presented do an excellent job showing that we need a new school. But more than that, I want to thank the Friends of Delaney for all of your advocacy for all the students in Baltimore County. I can't stress that enough. I've been to enough Board of Education meetings speaking to the board and have heard you and others from Delaney advocating for all of our students in Baltimore County having the proper facilities in which to learn. So again, I thank you very much for your involvement, and you've done an excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your work.
Any more comments? No. Ms. Yara, I guess I'd like to thank you as well for all your work and dedication and your commitment, not just to advocating for education in schools, but also your work on the League of Women Voters.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Great. Councilman.
And I want to also thank you, Yara. You are a terrific resource for many of us, and Kathy as well. I've talked to both of you many times. I think another point you have brought out that's a very good point is looking at the costs of building schools, looking at best practices and why we're spending so much money relative to other jurisdictions in Baltimore County. And I think that's something we also need to look at. But thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yara,
Yes.
I've been in your shoes.
And you've been to Delaney and to Towson, and you know.
And I thank you for your advocacy. It's commendable.
Thank you.
There's nothing more any of us want to see than a new school at Delaney, and a new school at Patapsco, and a new school at Lansdowne.
Absolutely.
We have got
Woodlawn.
to make a plan. We've got to have a 10-year plan to rebuild and get these schools on track. Right now, the fighting amongst people isn't good. It isn't good for anyone. In my opinion, the county executive has promised this, but he's not promised how he's going to pay for it. And we don't know how to pay for it. And that's our dilemma. It's not that we don't want you to have a school, we do. But it's like putting your six children in front of you and saying, pick favorite. It's hard.
Well, I think facility data should dictate priority, and we should look at the facility report that BCPS has and say, these are the schools that need attention, and these are the schools that need seats, and how do we marry those priorities?
One of my bigger questions is, how did they get in the shape they're in?
That's the next question. For every school that's been built, how do we maintain it?
Thank you, Yar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, Corey Johns. Good evening, sir.
All right. Thank you for your time here today. I'm Corey Johns, a lifelong resident of Baltimore County. The previous speaker spoke to a lot of my points that I was going to bring up about the high schools. I feel like there should be a prioritized plan for how these schools are going to be paid for sooner rather than later. Everybody always says kids are the priority and education is the priority, and then when we see this, these projects aren't new. Lansdowne High School, Delaney High School, the needs of these schools have been known for a long time, yet we're at a point now where it's unclear what the future is. And if we're going to wait another year, and maybe these plans take 10 years to raise the money, I feel like there should have been a plan already. I know it's easier said than done, but that priority should be put to the forefront ahead of other plans at the very beginning of the session. So I appreciate the time. The previous speaker again brought up a lot of the same points I was going to bring up, but I just again stress the prioritization for education and these buildings, and not just at high school levels, elementary schools, middle schools, across the board. Programs at public libraries, anything to help education, because education is truly the backbone of any community. People who want to move into a county look at school systems. Businesses always look at how strong the workforce will be in the future, not just now, but 10 years from now. So a quality education, K through 12 program brings businesses in. It truly is the backbone of a community, and that should be the main priority every single day of for any legislator.
Well, if you don't mind, Mr. Johns, let me first of all thank you so much for coming here today to testify. It's always good to hear from our citizens. I guess find it very necessary. There's no question about it. Schools are extremely important to us. They've been extremely important to the administration, and I don't think anyone can deny that when an organization or government such as ours spends over 52 cents of every tax dollar on the schools, I think you're hard-pressed to think that we don't put schools first. The government is very large, and we have a lot of needs, and I was talking to some people today about equipment, and we've spent, Baltimore County has spent over the last 8 or 9 years $1.3 billion on the schools. An extremely aggressive program. 8 years ago, there was 90 schools without air conditioning. Now we're down to less than 6. And they will be done probably this year, if not next year. So no one can deny that we're not spending as much as we can on schools. The question that we have as legislators, as the fiscal responsible people to the county, as everybody here as well as the government, is there's just so much you can do in terms of there's other things. There's libraries. If you look at the libraries in the community college, that's 60 cents with every tax dollar. Then we still have the police, we have the jail, we have trash collection, we have roads, you name it. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But I think that we have been spending as much as we can on schools, and I'm not advocating at all that we somehow slow down. But I'm here to say I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. $1.3 billion over the last 8 or 9 years is an awful lot of money on schools, and no one in the state of Maryland can even come close to that record. We have been forward funding our schools, whereas it used to be $1 for the state. Right now, the state owes us somewhere around $230 million because of all the money we put ahead of them giving us, and every year we get 30 or 40 million back from them. So it would be great if they were to give us the 230 that they owe us. We can build at least 2 high schools right there. But this is where we are. So I appreciate your comments, and I think it's necessary that I give credit where credit is due, and explain that we have been spending an awful lot of money on schools. Any comments from any of the other members? Thank you very much, Mr.
Just-
Johns.
Can I
Yes.
add, I wasn't saying, I understand the $1.3 billion in schools is a tremendous investment. I just, as the previous speaker was saying, put the priority even now, even in an election year, to planning the future of these other schools. I just feel like the priority of planning these, maybe we're a few years behind where we should be, because the problems have been known. I feel like there should be plans as soon as we know the problems, rather than prolonging them. But I do agree, the investment that have been made are commendable, but it's more the planning part of prioritizing that.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
No, I thank you for coming in, sir. We always appreciate it. Next, Mr. Eric Rockwell. Eric Rockwell. Rockwell.
Often felt sorry for my late uncle who was named Norman, so you can imagine people, they call him Norman Rockwell all the time. Chairman Jones, members of the council, good evening. As the dialogue continues on the appropriate fix for Delaney High, I hope you will consider the following. First, if a school renovation is deemed the appropriate path, Delaney's enrollment will be over the state-rated capacity at the time the renovation is complete or shortly thereafter. That would seem to argue for a different approach. Secondly, I reviewed the facilities assessment that was conducted in 2016, and I picked out of that report 3 things that were not addressed with a renovation. Number 1, it stated that Delaney was built in the mid-60s when the International Building Code didn't require snow loads to be factored in the roof design. So consequently, drifting snow on any part of the roof could, I'm not saying it will, but could prove problematic years down the road. This renovation is not addressing that roof superstructure. Secondly, we have settlement taking place in a 1997 era 3-story classroom. The renovation facilities assessment that I saw recommended addressing patching the cracks but not looking at the underlying cause of the settlement in the first place. That also concerns me. Thirdly, it reported in the assessment that relocating, modifying, or removing interior masonry walls could create the need for new lateral support and resisting systems for the school. And as the report specifically states, a new system is often intrusive and expensive in terms of modifying the building. So those are concerns that the report clearly identified. Also, I was concerned by some things that the report didn't identify, such as within the last year we had a case where a faulty wiring going out to one of the athletic fields caused a chain link fence to become electrified. Now, heaven forbid if one of the students had touched that chain link fence while that malfunction was going on. So moving forward, what I would ask the council to do is consider what ways we can at least partially address the monetary constraints that are obvious to all of you council people. There are a number of approaches. I'm not suggesting that this are the only approaches, but I think you should be considering things such as impact fees for new residential development. Other counties in the metropolitan area have done that. Possibly even a head tax on students in the system as a way of partially funding capital projects. And finally, as Councilman Jones previously pointed out, Baltimore County Public Schools operating system takes about 52 cents out of every county budget dollar, and yet Hartford and Howard counties take only about 40 cents every tax dollar. Could some of those monies be removed from the operating budget and be placed in the capital budget? So those are just 3 suggestions. There's probably a lot more from people smarter than I but I thank you for being able to address this.
Thank you. I know you didn't suggest we lay some teachers off, are you?
Pardon me?
You didn't suggest we lay teachers off to build buildings?
No, I did.
Okay, just checking. Start talking about the operating budget. I appreciate it. Any comments or questions? Ms. Kathy Forbes? Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, Chairman Jones and members of the council. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity to speak tonight.
No, we appreciate you coming.
Like the speakers before me, I'm going to speak on school construction. Today, a Facebook memory came up from 10 years ago, and it's the story that was on Channel 13, and it's the year I started a group called Towson Families United to find long-term solutions to the overcrowding of Towson schools. My youngest son was a kindergartner then, and he was interviewed and talked about the conditions at his school. So fast forward 10 years later, and his classmates are in 10th grade at Towson High. By 2021, the projections show Towson High being 621 students over its state-rated capacity of 1,260. So there'll be 621 over 1,260. Well, like the speakers before me, I applaud every time you invest in school construction because we woefully underfunded it for the 30 years before this council. So many communities have benefited from the money that you've spent. It's been spent all around the Beltway. And marrying overcrowding projections with the facilities report. That's why I was so disappointed last week when 6 of the 7 council people signed the letter, leaving, and I'm quoting it, "Any decision to fund a new high school for Delaney, as well as other equally deserving initiatives, must await the considered judgment of the next county executive, school board, planning board, and council." And tonight I'd like to say we can't wait. You have done really good work, and we have to continue it. The 2 things that I would ask you to do as a council is, for years I asked for a facilities report so we would know the condition of all our schools, and we got this in December of 2014. It hasn't been updated yet. So when we have conversations about which schools are most needy, it would be nice to have all of the construction work you've done since 2014 reflected in the report. So if you would ask the superintendent and the school system to make this a living document, so as projects are completed, it's reflected in the report, and we can all be talking from the same page. My other request is that you don't pull back on school construction. It's an investment, not an expense. It benefits the children and the students in the building. It benefits the neighborhoods those schools are built in. It benefits the homeowners who go to sell their house, and there's a beautiful new school in the neighborhood. And it benefits all of Baltimore County because our tax base relies on us attracting new homeowners, and counties all around us have younger schools than us. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ms. Forbes, for coming, and I tell you, you're right in the sense that, we have concerns on, how to spend money, but no one can say that we're not growing as a county. Baltimore County continues to be a place where people want to move to, and people are moving in, and we are working as best we can to
That's what we want.
accommodate the students that are showing up. Councilman Katz? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Chairman Jones, I had always heard when you quote 52 cents on the dollar of the budget going to education, that includes the money spent for CCBC and the libraries. Is that true?
If you throw in the libraries and the community college, we're at 60 cents on the dollar.
Okay.
And if you look across the state of Maryland, what other people give, as was mentioned by some, is not quite as much. So, you'd be hard pressed to think that we're not investing as much as we can in the schools. And we hear it, most people don't hear it, but we hear it from other departments and budgets and employees who come along and says, I'm in the sheriff's department, I'm driving, when I get the car to replace the car that's there, the new car comes in with 120,000 miles on it. Not the one I'm getting rid of. People riding around with cars with 260,000 miles on it. So Baltimore County government, the money has to go a long way in terms of, there's so many needs out there. And we're not in any way, is anybody up here not giving as much as we can to the schools. I guess want to make that clear.
And I want to make sure you know that I applaud all of you for what you've done for school construction. I'm just asking for more.
Hey, well, let me, okay.
Because there are kids in buildings where the water runs brown. There are kids in buildings where there's no climate control. There are kids in buildings with leaky roofs. We have to fix them. We don't have a choice.
If what you say is true, absolutely right. Councilman Katz?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kathy, I want to thank you for all your efforts on behalf of Towson and the central area, in fact, the entire county. I just want to make the statement that I think that to separate Delaney and Towson is a big mistake. There is savings that can be realized by going forward with both of these schools at the same time. If you take a look at Towson, first of all, the population, as you said what, 612 over?
620 by 2021, and then it continues to grow from there.
Now, I understand that the folks in Towson don't want a school of that size.
Well, the Towson site is one of the smallest school sites in the county, high school sites in the county.
So there's savings that can be realized if both of these schools take place at the same time. And my case is this, and this has been talked about quite a bit. First of all, sharing architectural plans. Secondly, when you take a look at, it's more expensive to build a school and a new school and then still use parts of the old one, which I guess would have to happen at Towson. What would work better is this: to build a new Delaney on the 42 acres of Delaney High School, then relocate the Towson students at the old Delaney, and then so that they can tear down the old Towson, build a new one. And when you take a look at it, you have less disruption. And as I said, you have savings that can be realized.
So you're suggesting using Delaney as a holding school. And
Correct.
Montgomery County has a holding school in each of its school areas where they move students in so they can do school construction in an empty school on an empty lot and then return the students after a year. Montgomery County has done it for years. And we did it when we did the Stoneleigh renovation. We moved them to the old Carver School for a year and then moved them into, and it only took 14 months to complete the Stoneleigh renovation, where the Hampton renovation, where they didn't put kids in a holding school, took 22 months, I believe.
Yeah. So we have, as I said, a lot. We can save money by doing these two in conjunction with one another and reduce disruption, reduce construction time, et cetera. So I think that the council and the school system need to look at these two schools together.
I mean, the
instead of
central area and
separately.
the northeast area are 1,000 kids over capacity projected to be in high school. And the overcrowding of elementary schools hit Towson first, and then it hit Catonsville, and now it's in Dundalk in Mr. Crandall's district. Dundalk Elementary School is one of the most overcrowded in the county right now, and they're projected to get a new school. But all of those kids, like my son, aren't going to, and hopefully, end up in high school. So the high school overcrowding, the high school's the next piece, and the high schools are way more expensive than the elementary schools. An elementary school can be built for around $25,000 to $32,000, but high schools are, the last one we built was Dundalk High School, and it was $110 million. So. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Well-
Kathy. Yeah.
Ms. Forbes, we appreciate you coming, and there's no question about it. I mean, we would love to give everybody, or all places, a new school. But I look at the projections, what you mentioned, I start pulling some up on my phone. I was looking at them, and clearly the plan initially was to renovate Lansdowne, Delaney, Woodlawn, and what, Patapsco?
Patapsco, they were the four
So
worst with the
those are the
worst
four.
mechanical
So-
and engineering.
So when you say, let's build Delaney, the folks in Lansdowne say, okay, our school's in bad shape, we want a new one too. The folks in Woodlawn, in my district, say, okay, we want a new one too. And I haven't heard, but I imagine the folks in Patapsco, if they look at everybody getting a new school, they will say they'll take a new one too. So we could probably say, okay, we'll build one new school or two new schools and everybody else wait. Or we can renovate as many as we can and everybody gets something nice sooner. So, I mean, it's a decision that'll have to be made. It'll be a decision that'll be made moving forward. And frankly, personally, I think it's a mistake to make these type of decisions during an election year because people have a tendency to make promises and versus people moving forward who will have to be around to make those tough decisions in terms of what we do to pay for these things. Now, that's just my opinion, but we'll figure it out. I'm sure we will.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say thank you
Thank
for
you.
all your hard work.
Thank you.
This is really a tough situation. A lot of emotion. As I said, I've been there and done that, and I get it. I'm just worried about where the money's coming from.
I mean, it's a tough conversation you have to have with your constituents. What do they want? What conditions do they want the children in our county with? And as stewards of the county, you have to look at what you're going to leave behind when you leave. Like, you can't leave schools in the conditions we have. It's just not fair.
And
It's not
I
right.
agree with you.
And it's a bit, and like I said, it's an investment.
And it's
not an
supposed to
expense.
be children first. That's how it's supposed to be. I just don't see in this economic climate where the money's coming from. And that's my worry. And I have questions about where the money's gone. I really do. Some of the schools that I've seen and I've been touring, I don't even know how teachers teach in them and kids are in them at all. I've never seen anything like it. It's awful. So, thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Katie Knott. Good evening, Ms. Knott.
This will be really easy. I'm just here to say thank you for voting to move the Bosley Estates PUD forward. I personally have been working on this since Presbyterian Home went up for sale in May of 2016. I will continue to work on it. I've been working very closely with the developers, and I know that we all can come through with a wonderful project for our neighborhood. And I also wanted to say thank you. My cell phone has been lighting up like a Christmas tree with all of our neighbors that were here, and they want to thank you as well.
And Julie, and Kate, thank you for your leadership, along with Jen Bolster and Therese McAllister and others. Thank you for your open-mindedness. I know you worked with the developers through numerous iterations of this proposal. That is a beautiful structure, and I think in 2020, 2021, whenever it's finished, we'll be very proud of what's going to be built there. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments from the members? I want to take this opportunity to once again to thank everyone for coming out tonight, especially our speakers, letting us know what's on your mind. We appreciate it very much. And I wish that we all would just take a moment to keep the survivors and victims of the heinous Florida shootings in our prayers as we move forward. So thank you very much for coming and have a great night. Yes, ma'am. You want to come up real quickly and give us, what is your name and as you're walking up? I know you, but part of the record, you know. Don't be offended.
My name is Capri Bright, and I've been here for what seems like many, many weeks now coming to these meetings. But today, you and Mr. Koch and Ms. Morrison, Mr. Freed, Mr. Moxley, and all the rest of the members of this council have stood by your word and voted for Councilman Koch's bill concerning the Animal Services Facility. And as a member and a community leader for the Kimberly Homeowners Association, I want to thank you for that on behalf of myself and my community and Mr. Steve Brightsky, who's been really instrumental in this whole charge. We look forward to going ahead with you guys on this project, and thank you for your time, and Ms. Almond and Mr. Jones for so graciously greeting us when we came to your offices. It means a lot. So thank you.
Thank you so much. On that note, we are adjourned. Thanks again for coming.